Debates about whether Han shot first or Rey is a secret Skywalker pail in comparison to one important question: in what order should the Star Wars films be viewed? When George Lucas's Star Wars prequel trilogy came out in the late 90s and early 2000s, the reception was lukewarm at best. With the 3 original movies considered to be such unimpeachable classics, expectations were always going to be high. However, despite their predictably great success at the box office, the films were largely received with vitriol and loathing. When the first of the new films, Star Wars Episode 1: The Phantom Menace, came out, people found the acting flat, the aliens culturally insensitive, and the pod racing sequence too long. What's more, viewers hated the Jar Jar Binks character so much that they basically ruined the actor's life. The next of the new films, Attack of the Clones, was received no better, and even the legitimately decent third film, Revenge of the Sith, was lambasted along with the others. For better or for worse, these films will forever be part of the Star Wars canon regardless of their public reception.
This isn't how it's supposed to be!
Amid all the criticism the prequels received, they did spark an important debate about the franchise that continues to this day. In what order should the movies be watched? As it turns out, George Lucas has the firm opinion that there's only one correct way to enjoy the Star Wars movies. Many corners of the internet have tried to address the question of which order to watch the Star Wars films. There are many different schools of thought, most of which were showcased in a 2015 Vulture piece where celebrities and writers were asked their preferred order of viewing. For some, like Dennis Quaid and Lin-Manuel Miranda, watching the films in the order they were released is the best tactic. Weighing in on the subject, Breaking Bad's Aaron Paul suggested, you start with the original Star Wars movie. Maybe it's nostalgia, or maybe it's not even that. I have no idea why I feel this way, but you should watch them in the order they were released. Some members of the Vulture staff had a more complicated view. Watch the 4th and 5th movies first, then the 3 prequels, then the 6th movie. A Vulture staff writer pointed out that doing this allows viewers to start and end with solid movies, leaving the prequels in the middle. Additionally, once the truth about Darth Vader comes out, watching the prequels immediately explains the perplexing reveal of how he could be Luke's father. With all these opinions circulating the web, George Lucas's own thoughts on the matter have been somewhat stifled. It turns out, Lucas prefers a more simplistic approach to viewing his movies. He said, start with 1. That's the way to do it right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the way they're supposed to be done. Just because it took a long time to film it doesn't mean you don't do it in order. Lucas received tons of criticism after the disappointment of the prequel trilogy, having to defend all of his creative choices from a vocal and toxic section of the fanbase. The treatment he received from his previous fans were awful, and Lucas's film career was more or less over after the prequels. However, that does not in any way diminish the validity of his perspective on which order the film should be viewed. Of course, like our universe itself, Star Wars is ever expanding. With the addition of the sequel trilogy of the late 2010s, which also met its fair share of fan backlash, and countless other Star Wars projects in the oven, the series' timeline will likely forever be altered and built upon. While the world that George Lucas created is no longer in his hands, we should all appreciate the hours of joy and heated internet discussion that he gave us, whether or not we're interested in galactic trade agreements.